The Bold and the Beautiful. Finn's reckoning a baby, a marriage, and a war against Bill Spencer in a world where love, betrayal, and power collide every day. The latest storm in The Bold and the Beautiful has pushed everything to the edge. What began as whispered threats and secret agendas has exploded into full-blown war with John Finn Finnegan standing at the center of it, fighting for justice, for life, and for something far deeper than anyone expected. This isn't just another scandal. This is a battle for survival. Luna Nozawa, pregnant and terrified, nearly lost everything when a shadowy figure attempted to silence her forever. The attack was swift, calculated, and cold, not a robbery gone wrong, not a random act of violence. It was a hit, a message, a final warning. Someone wanted her dead. Someone didn't want that baby to be born. And when the chaos cleared, it was Finn who stepped in not just as a doctor, but as a man determined to rewrite the outcome. The operating room became a battleground of its own. Luna's condition was critical. The baby's heartbeat was fading. But Finn fought like hell, refusing to let two lives slip away under his watch. Hours later, mother and child pulled through. But Finn wasn't done. Not even close. With Luna recovering and fear still fresh in her eyes, Finn began connecting the dots. Hospital records, surveillance footage, a discarded burner phone. What he uncovered sent a chill through him. The attacker wasn't a random thug, he was a hired hand. A professional. And the money trail led straight back to one man, Bill Spencer. But Finn didn't just have suspicion. He had proof. Luna, trembling but resolute, had secretly recorded one of Bill's private tirades. In it, Bill's voice was unmistakable, laced with venom and desperation. He issued veiled threats, demanded she terminate the pregnancy, and hinted at handling things another way if she refused. His words, captured in cold audio, made one thing horrifyingly clear. Bill would rather see Luna and the baby dead than allow them to exist and complicate his legacy. Finn took that recording. He took the medical records. He took the assault evidence. And he went to the district attorney. His request was clear. Open a criminal case against Bill Spencer for conspiracy to commit murder, assault with intent to kill, and coercion to terminate a pregnancy. The DA, stunned by the audacity of it all, agreed to initiate a preliminary investigation. But Finn knew it wouldn't be enough to protect Luna and her child. Not while Bill still roamed free with power, influence, and the ability to manipulate the system. That's when Finn proposed something radical, something no one saw coming. A protective marriage contract, a temporary legal union between Luna and Will Spencer. Under California law, spousal privilege and marital protection could shield Luna from certain forms of intimidation. The marriage would be binding. It would complicate Bill's ability to interfere. And most importantly, it would legally position Luna under the protection of the Spencer name, something Bill would never tolerate. Will, shaken by the attack, terrified by his father's rage, and quietly guilt-ridden over Luna's trauma, agreed. He didn't love Luna. He wasn't ready for marriage. But he trusted Finn. And he feared Bill. So he said yes. The ceremony was quick, clinical, and quiet. Just Luna, Will, Finn, and a county clerk with a trembling pen. But that signature set off a chain reaction no one could contain. Steffy Forrester was the first to explode. She cornered Finn in the hospital corridor, fury in her eyes. To her, this wasn't about justice, it was about obsession. She accused Finn of going too far, of blurring the lines between doctor and savior, between ethics and arrogance. She saw the hasty marriage as an act of overreach, a personal crusade that now dragged the entire Forrester family into dangerous territory. "You've crossed the line, Finn," she hissed. "You've turned our lives into a war zone." But Finn didn't back down. He told Steffy the truth that this wasn't just about Luna, or even the baby. It was about stopping a man who believed he could rewrite lives with money and threats. It was about protecting those who couldn't protect themselves. And it was about drawing a line that Bill Spencer would finally be forced to respect. But Bill didn't respect lines. He stormed into the hospital like a hurricane in designer shoes, flanked by his bodyguards, barking orders and demanding answers. When he found Finn outside Luna's room, the explosion came fast. "You think you can make that little gold digger my daughter-in-law, Bill Ward? You think you can defy me and get away with it?" Finn didn't flinch. Calmly, he pulled a manila folder from behind his back, the restraining order, signed and stamped by the court just hours earlier. Bill Spencer was now legally barred from approaching Luna, Will, or the child. And hospital security, bolstered by a private firm Finn personally hired, stood ready to enforce it. "You're not a god, Bill," Finn said, voice cold. "You don't get to decide who lives and dies." "Not anymore." The entire floor froze as Bill read the order. His hands shook, his pride shattered. But even as he was escorted out of the building, his eyes never left Finn. "This isn't over," he snarled. "I'll bury you for this." But Finn had already made his choice. The war was public now. The media would run with it. The police were investigating. And the world would finally see Bill Spencer for who he really was. Now the Spencer empire trembles. The Forresters are divided. Luna, recovering in her hospital bed, watches the fallout with quiet horror, realizing the price of survival. Will, torn between loyalty to his mother and fear of his father, is caught in a legal and emotional tug-of-war that could define his future. And Finn. He stands at the eye of the storm, a healer turned warrior, a man who chose to fight instead of look away. The questions now loom: will the charges against Bill hold? Can Finn protect Luna and the baby from retaliation? Will Steffy stand by Finn or walk away as the fallout deepens? Can a temporary marriage turn into something real, or will it crumble under pressure? One thing is certain: this is no longer just a family feud. This is war. And in The Bold and the Beautiful, no war ends without casualties. The Bold and the Beautiful, Finn's dangerous gambit, a wedding, a war, and the fall of Bill Spencer's empire. The game has changed. The rules no longer apply. In the relentless war between power and protection, John Finn Finnegan has taken his boldest, most dangerous step, yet a calculated trap: a secret wedding. And a high-stakes escape that's left Bill Spencer cornered, humiliated, and more vengeful than ever. This isn't just a personal feud anymore. It's a declaration of war, and The Bold and the Beautiful has never burned hotter. It all started with a lie. A deliberate, surgical lie designed not to hurt, but to save. Finn fed Bill Spencer a story carefully crafted and baited to perfection. A shadowy broker in Las Vegas who specialized in erasing digital trails, wiping forensic footprints, and cleaning up the kind of messes Bill made when he ordered Luna Nozawa silenced. A man who could vanish the attack like it never happened. Bill, desperate and arrogant, took the bait. While Bill jetted to Nevada, hungry for damage control and convinced he was one meeting away from freedom, Finn set the real plan into motion in Los Angeles. The hospital was no longer safe. The restraining order had slowed Bill, but not stopped him. His reach was too wide, his influence too heavy. The near-fatal attack on Luna had only hardened Finn's resolve. The only way to protect her and her unborn child was to cut Bill's control at the root. Permanently. So Finn turned to Carter Walton. With legal precision and unshakable loyalty, Carter arranged a lightning-fast, airtight marriage contract between Will Spencer and Luna Nozawa. A legitimate union, sealed in the eyes of the state, drafted with clauses to shield Luna and her baby under the full protection of spousal rights, marital privilege, and hospital family access codes that even Bill couldn't override. The ceremony wasn't glamorous. It didn't need to be. Carter secured a chapel tucked in the city's industrial edge, small, secure, silent. Finn oversaw every detail. Luna, though shaken, agreed without hesitation. Will, visibly rattled by his father's descent into violence, signed without a word. There was no music, no guests, just signatures, vows whispered in hushed urgency, and the cold certainty that this was a shield, not a celebration. But before the final signature could dry, Steffy Forrester arrived. Heartbroken, furious, desperate. She pleaded with Finn to stop, to see what he was doing not just to Luna and Will, but to their family, their marriage, their future. But Finn, composed and calm, handed her a folder. Inside, medical records. Detailed analysis. Lab results showing Luna's cortisol levels off the charts. Blood pressure surges. Hormone spikes so severe they risk triggering labor or worse. Her body was at war with itself. The baby was in danger. And the answer, according to Finn, a social sedative, the marriage, a stabilizing structure, a psychological anchor, a line in the sand that said, "You are safe now," not a fantasy, not a fairy tale, but a survival mechanism wrapped in legal armor. Steffi saw the data. She didn't argue further. Meanwhile, in Las Vegas, Bill Spencer realized he had been played. There was no fixer, no cleaner, no man with magic erasers. There was only silence and then rage. He snapped, not just out of frustration, but humiliation. Finn had made a fool of him, stripped him of control, trapped him in a wild goose chase while Luna married his son. Bill did what Bill always does when cornered. He hit back. Within hours, a volley of gunfire lit up the sky outside the Los Angeles chapel, not aimed to kill, but to warn. Finn's sources picked up chatter. Surveillance caught movement. One of Bill's men, on a rooftop, firing into the air. Chaos erupted. The chapel was locked down. Will shielded Luna with his body. Carter contacted security, but Finn had already anticipated this too. Outside, the roar of rotors shook the asphalt. The Forrester medical helicopter landed fast and hard behind the chapel. Its rear bay open, a team of armed private guards at the ready. Finn rushed Luna and Will aboard, shielding them with his own body as they climbed. Medical equipment secured. Blood pressure monitored. Doors sealed. Liftoff. From above, Los Angeles shrank beneath them. Below, Bill Spencer's control crumbled. He had lost the element of fear, lost the leverage, lost the only chance he had to keep Luna in the shadows. She was protected, married, and under the legal and physical guardianship of a man who would rather burn every bridge than let her fall into Bill's hands again. And Bill, he stood on the tarmac, fists clenched, watching the sky as the helicopter disappeared into the clouds. There were no words, just a promise. There will be blood. That's the vow he spat at Finn through gritted teeth when they finally met face to face in a courthouse hallway later that week. You think this is over? You think marrying my son makes you a hero? I'll make you wish you'd never crossed me. But Finn didn't blink. He looked Bill in the eyes and replied, without emotion, "This is bigger than you now. The law is watching. The press is watching. Your empire is bleeding. And it's your own hand holding the knife. The fallout is spreading like wildfire." Luna is now in hiding under hospital protection in an undisclosed Forrester-owned facility with round-the-clock medical staff and legal observers. Will has cut off contact with his father entirely. Steffi, reeling from her husband's choices, is now caught between loyalty to Finn and the fear that he's lost in a war he may never win. Carter has been dragged into the political crossfire, accused of exploiting loopholes for emotional blackmail. Rich Forrester is trying to keep the company neutral, but even he can see the storm rising. And Bill is no longer trying to silence the scandal. He's fueling it, leaking partial stories to the press, paying off bloggers, spinning narratives where Luna is a manipulative gold digger, where Will is a victim of coercion, and where Finn is a rogue doctor obsessed with heroism. But it's not working. Public opinion is shifting. Luna's survival story and the attempted attack have gone viral. The leaked footage of Bill's gunmen firing warning shots has backfired spectacularly. Law enforcement has opened an investigation. Whispers of a federal indictment are growing louder. Still, this is Bill Spencer. He doesn't go down easy. He's regrouping, strategizing, and planning his next move, one that may not involve legal action at all. Because Bill doesn't just want to win. He wants revenge. Not just on Luna, Not just on Will, but on Finn, the man who played him, beat him, and made him bleed. And Finn, he's not done either. There's still a baby on the way, still a terrified mother, still a system that could collapse the second the spotlight fades. Finn knows the only way to win is to stay ahead legally, tactically, emotionally. His next moves will matter more than ever. The war is far from over. In the bold and the beautiful, battles like these don't end with handshakes or court rulings. They end with betrayal, with bloodlines split down the middle, with allies turning into enemies, with families burned to the ground, and with Bill Spencer vowing with every fiber of his being that someone will pay. This isn't just drama anymore. It's vengeance, and no one is safe.